Hi, I'm Dan Burke, Audit Partner at Blick Rothenberg. I'm here today with Dino Sura, Managing Director of Burger Lobster. So Dino, how would you describe Burger Lobster to somebody that's not been to one of your restaurants before?
Dan, I think when we look at Burger Lobster, I think it means a lot to a lot of different people. But if in the simplest form, I think the name says it all, Burger Lobster. I think we do the best-in-class burgers, and of course the lobsters. What we source and get in is the best that you can get in the UK. In terms of the atmosphere we generate, the team we have within the restaurants create a really good sort of atmosphere. So I would say it's a buzzing, lively place to visit, and you can get best of both, the burger and the lobster.
We are unique because we are, when we open a restaurant, Burger Lobster, like nobody believed that we can do it, obviously, because it's only burger and lobster, nothing else. We didn't have menu, we didn't have anything else like a starters or let's say a marketing, all this kind of way, like make us super famous, but we're doing and we are where we are.
What's the Burger and Lobster story? What's the history of the company, and especially since you joined the business?
Sure. So we started back in 2011 with our first restaurant in Mayfair. Gradually we grew over that period very successfully. I think we were talk of the town at certain points during that time. And we did expand a little bit too quickly, which, unfortunately wasn't great. But I've been with the company now almost coming 6 years this summer, and I think since coming on board, what's been a key feature for us is the people piece. We're very, very happy and proud of the people that represent us. Our tenure within the teams is about 2.7 months per person in terms of years, so which is from an industry perspective is very high, and where we currently sit, I think from a historical place we're coming in, the focus has always been about the product itself, the focus on making sure that we get the best quality that we can, and it's sustainable, and the fact that our teams within the restaurants can deliver that. Since I've been in, I think we've been looking at sort of variable approaches of ensuring we went back to our roots and focusing. When we first started off, we only had 3 dishes on the menu. Well, there wasn't a menu, but there was just 3 dishes. Since then, of course, times have changed, the marketplace has changed, and we've got to a situation now. Of course, we had COVID in between, and reflecting on that, the team worked amazingly well to be at a stage where we are now, and we're looking now to hopefully grow the business going forward.
So what's the foundations of Burger and Lobster's success?
It's people, simple as. I think, as I mentioned before, the fact that we've got the team in place who've been around for a very, very long time, and they care. So I think the foundation, if I had to put it simply, is the people. In terms of looking at it, there's 2 perspectives of that. Number one is we have a very loyal following from our customers, and also the people that sort of come into our restaurants that work with us, generally start at a sort of a hourly rate and they progress on to management position. So it's the people. I think we've also got a very simplistic sort of look at the menu itself. We don't overcomplicate it, and I think that would be the answer I would say.
Why we are unique and why we can basically cook our burger to a stage medium rare, medium well and well done. I will just gonna cover this in a fast way how I can. So basically, when we're buying a product which is a beef, the bacteria growing on the outside of the beef, and we steam to the safety level, remove the bacteria to the safety level, then we're cooling down. Then what we're doing before we mincing as well, when we mix all of the beef, which is a 3 cuts, which is a rump cup, there's a brisket and a chuck. What we're doing, we put in the cooling water, like a water cooling mincer. We mince twice, 4 millimeters, then 8 millimeters. We remove the bacteria again to the safety level. Then we do the lab test in the United States. We do the lab test in northern, from the beef from Northern Ireland and from United States when they are mixed together. We do the lab test in Netherlands. Then we ship our product, frozen product to UK, and we do the second lab test, third in a way, just to make sure that the product is safe and we can consume the beef in the way how we cook it.
So today we're here in the Threadneedle Street restaurant. How do you choose your restaurant locations?
That's the, oh my God, that's a loaded question, but how would I answer that? I think Listen, it's very challenging. I think all the operators that are out there, they would say the same thing. I think number one is ensuring that you know what's happening in the marketplace, understanding your competitors, and also I think having relationships is very important in this sort of business, like any other, but more so in terms of the agents that we use. And also landlords, because the connections that you make within this industry, they sort of have this, everyone in the industry knows each other. Okay. So, you know, in terms of picking sites, we you know, do a lot of research into ensuring that the place or the location we're looking at works for Burger Lobster, understanding the customer profiling of that particular location. So there's a lot of detail that goes into that sort of aspect, but then also the old-fashioned way is we do a lot of walking. So we walk around that space, and randomly there's times you know that I would just go into a place where we think we might be successful, we could do something, and just walk half a day, the full day, get the steps in, just to ensure that that place feels right for us, and also, you know, it gives you a good overview of seeing different locations and how other businesses are performing during the different parts of the day.
And what are the challenges that the company has faced as it's grown?
Well, listen, I think if I had to answer this, it's probably in three phases. Number one, I think the phase one was we were very, very successful when we first started off, and I think maybe we overgrew the business, and unfortunately we had to sort of close some restaurants, and that was a learning for us. And then, of course, the second phase was the element of the COVID situation and coming through that, which is very challenging for all sort of industries. And then the third part now is, I think, coming through the growing pains is trying to understand where we sort of land with the cost of living sort of pressures. But I would definitely say for us that the key focus that I would sort of say to anybody is if you're looking at potentially growing, is focusing on the quality of the people that you have within the business. That's vital. And secondly, looking at the product that you have, because I think it all revolves around that people piece again, you know, the customers and the team you have in hand. If you can execute the team in hand really well, you'll deliver that product to the customers very well as well.
So I guess following up on that, what advice would you give to business owners looking to scale their business?
Look after your people. Simple as, you know, I think if you look after your people will deliver for you. And the mantra for us has always been people first culture. I think it's trying to do, this might be a sort of business leaders interview process where you're looking through this, but I think for us it's more a team business. I think everyone chips in, and I think anybody who's looking to sort of grow through the growth phase of their business, I thoroughly recommend that they ensure that they don't lose sight of the fact that the people are important to their development and growth of their business. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes, like we did in the past, we probably got carried away with our growth strategy and probably didn't hang on to the people we needed to. But sometimes you have to make those tough calls also at the same time, is to understand, you know, if your business is at a certain stage, it doesn't need to have 100 sites, for example. You can make it work with 10, 15, 20, and you need to know your place in the market. It's not a point sort of growing too far too quickly.
I know that sustainability is very important to Burger and Lobster. So what does sustainability look like to you?
Well, there's multiple things. I think it's a key focus for us, for the business, for a number of years, and I think particular attention was paid last year when we did the refurb program across the 8 sites in London, and of course one the previous year. But we looked at sort of from an energy perspective. Number one, we changed all the lights to LED within all the restaurants. We looked at backhouse areas to see where we could sort of add sensors, so we weren't wasting energy there. And then we implemented, we brought in some consultants to look at our strategy overall, based on the fact that, you know, where could we sort of look at energy as a sustainable element, and then also based on, you know, procurement. We also have a partner there that looks at maybe combining different deliveries together, so we have less. And then the biggest one probably for us, which we're working on currently, is the procurement of lobsters, which comes from Canada. And in the past we've had a number of deliveries coming through. We're now looking at how we can reduce those deliveries so our carbon footprint improves across the board.
I think the hospitality industry has it harder than most when we talk about sustainability. Partly because the supply chain dictates how much we can do, But with that said, 2023 at Burger Lobster saw great strides in waste reduction, waste management and energy reduction. And one example we can all be proud of is seeing an over 90% reduction in our carbon emissions in the way that we transport our lobster. 2024, what does it bring? It brings a real focus and a real commitment to keep sustainability as a pillar of our thinking. We'll continue to commit to this, and it'll be a process of continual improvement, because me, the team, Burger and Lobster believe that sustainability is a direction of travel and not an end point.
Dino, the brand is in 9 different countries, but I believe London is still your base?
Yes, Dan, I think, listen, we started here. We've got 9 restaurants within London. We're looking to grow within the UK, but we'll always come back home. And home is where the heart is, as they say. And I think from our perspective, we're heavily involved with a charity called the Cardinal Hume Centre, actively working with them to support local communities and doing the great work that they do with their different partners.
We're really lucky that Burger & Lobster is a household name around London and the UK, and now a global household name as well. But we can do all the marketing that we want, all the advertising that we want, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to our people and our product, making sure that we have the right people in our restaurants, the right guests in our restaurants, and constantly trying to scrutinise our dishes and making sure that they're the best possible dishes that our guests can have.
Finally, Dino, what's the future for Burger and Lobster?
Keep our people focused and ensure that the team is happy. And then I think if we do that, then we'll look to hopefully deliver more sites. We're currently, looking at adding more restaurants to our portfolio, in a smart way. And I think from that perspective, we're not just in the UK, but internationally. And hopefully we can, this year, add maybe a few more restaurants to the portfolio.
Thank you, Dino, for chatting with us today and for being part of our Success Stories series.
Thank you, Dan.